welcome back to my channel. My name is T. We haven't met face to face yet, but today I wanted to do a sort of a talk with you guys about one of my cats. It's actually a 4-part series I want to do, introducing all of my cats to you. I apologise if there's any noise in the background. That will be Storm. She is playing with toys. I've got all of my cats here. I've got Alaska on this side, I've got Kessie on that side, I've got Shadow eating, so if you hear anything, it's them. So I had to change rooms because they were being way too noisy. So I'm in my bedroom right now, so I apologise for the change of scenery and maybe a lighting difference. Hopefully you can hear me. So today I wanted to talk about my oldest cat being Shadow. In my intro, he's the little black one, obviously, Shadow. And I wanted to start off with him because obviously he's the cat we've had the longest. And there's a lot of story to him. How we got him was really, really strange. It's not something you would normally come across when getting a cat. I think it's fate that we got him. So I'll start off with him, and I'll start in age order. So Shadow, obviously the oldest, like I said, then Kessie, then Alaska, and then Storm. So first of all, who is Shadow? Shadow is my 11-year-old domestic shorthair. So he is a moggy. He is the mutt of the cat world. He is no specific breed, and he is a black. He is pure black, so he doesn't have any white in him apart from a little bit of white on his chest, and he's getting a bit old, so he's got like white flecks everywhere. Bless him. He's my only male in the house as well. And he's just an old grumpy man. You know, he spends most of his day sleeping. He likes his food. If it's really nice outside, he'll go out and he'll sunbathe for the whole day. Yeah, he's a simple cat, and he's a sweetheart. So in order to understand the story of Shadow, I have to take you back quite a few years now. In 2008, we found out that we were moving out of our flat, moving into a new house. And with that, we already had 2 cats. We had Tabby and Max, who unfortunately have now crossed the Rainbow Bridge since this video. And when we moved home, my mum made it very, very clear that we weren't getting any more cats. Because our flat obviously did not have a garden, whereas the house does, and she wanted the already existing cats to have a space to stay in and have fun, spend time in the garden without being bothered. So straight off the bat, no more animals, just the 2 cats. I want to say we moved in about April time, and things were going well. Max tried to escape once, which was hilarious because none of you would know Max because obviously unfortunately she passed away quite a while ago now, but she was severely obese and she was also disabled, so she wasn't able to walk, and if she could walk it was wobbling, and she tried to run, and by God she ran pretty fast. And Tabby, who was my baby, she was Tabby. And then in must have been July, my dad, who doesn't live with us, and didn't live with us at the time either, he was walking our dog. So we used to have a Rottweiler called Diesel, and my dad would always walk the dog away from any other dog, not for any reason, not because he was an angry or vicious dog. It just made the walk a lot quicker, a lot more simple. Didn't mean they had to stop constantly for Diesel to meet every single dog, and that's exactly what he did on this particular walk. He took the dog out probably quite early in the morning and just happened to come across another dog walker with a border collie, and she stopped him, much to his dismay I'm sure, and they got talking, and obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know how the conversation came to be, but she said along the lines of that she thought that my dad was a very good pet owner. She said that Diesel looked beautiful. He looked like he was well fed, he looked like he was happy, and then she mentioned that she had a litter of kittens that had just been born unexpectedly from her cat, obviously, and she wanted to know if he'd be interested. So he phoned my mum. My mum was like, absolutely not, no freaking way are we having some more cats. But stupidly, she asked myself and my brother our opinions and whether, you know, we thought it was a good idea. And of course, as kids, we were all over that. I was about 13, so I was all over having a brand new kitten, and that was that. So we had no idea who Shadow was, which kitten we were even getting. We were allowed to visit them at 5 weeks old. They all looked the same. There were 5 black kittens and 1 grey one, and the grey one was already spoken for, so it was definitely a black one that we were getting. But we didn't choose which kitten we were getting. It wasn't until he came home at 7 weeks old, which by the way is too young, that we realised we had been given a boy. And my mum was not happy because we had 2 female cats, and we were worried that having a boy in the house was going to cause some issues, and it definitely did. So Shadow spent a lot of his first couple of years, you know, bothering the other 2 cats. He loved bothering Max. He loved Tabby. He thought Tabby was the best thing ever, and not in the nice way. I think it was because she was so easily pissed off. All he had to do was literally turn the corner and she'd be there, and she'd be hissing at him, spitting at him, and he saw that as a game. He thought that was fun. He thought that was an opportunity to annoy and upset her even more. So yeah, he spent a long time bothering our cats, and we let him outside, which is not something I really like doing now, but with him, he was outside by the time he was like 10 weeks old. And I remember the day he fell down the fence, and he fell down wrong, and he sprained his leg, and my mum sat me down and she was like, look T, this is not happening, you know, we can't have this cat. He was really upsetting Max, he was really bothering Tabby. We're gonna take him to the vet, get him neutered, get his leg looked at, and then after that, that's it, he's getting a new home. I can't deal with him anymore. And I was upset. As a kid, you form bonds with animals like that, you know. It took little to no time for me to fall in love with Shadow, and the very thought of giving him up was horrifying to me. We didn't want to do it. So I remember sitting out in the garden and I just burst into tears. I was just not happy at all with the decision that she wanted to make. So he got neutered. He had sprained his leg, and so he was given some anti-inflammatories and just some bed rest. And Mum and I had a long chat about his future with us, and I can't remember what was said, but eventually she changed her mind. And yeah, I mean, we've still got him now, and you know, this all happened when he was about 5 months old, and he's 11 years old now. He is the weirdest cat I've ever owned, and not in like weird like Kessie or Storm or Alaska, I mean just like personality wise. I've always said that I'm convinced that cat is bipolar. 1 minute, absolutely fine, and you know, he'll want to stroke, you'll stroke him, he'll be fine with that. Then the slightest little thing happens and not happy. An example of that is when he cries to go outside. You go to the door, he starts crying, you let him out, and he hisses at you as a thank you. So thankfully Shadow has been pretty easy as a cat to look after in regards to health-wise. He didn't really have many health implications other than being neutered, which all cats should have that procedure, and then hurting his leg. However, in the last year and a half of owning him, he has definitely made up for that. So he's gone 10 years without going to the vet, and then it was last September of 2018, he got into a cat fight, which is what he does often, and he came back into the house and he was very lethargic, and I had noticed, you know, it's very obvious when your animal's not very well, especially Shadow. And he slept a lot, but he was, you know, he was not moving, and you needed to wake him up to get his food, and that was not something that Shadow is like. You know, Shadow wakes you up for food. And we left him for a little while because we thought, oh, maybe it's just old age, you know, he'd just turned 10, and we thought, bloody hell, you know, this is what having a senior cat is going to be like now. And then the more and more we thought about it, we thought, no, this isn't right. So we took him to the vets, and I took him. I didn't mention at the beginning, we have 4 cats, but 3 of the females, they're mine. Shadow is not technically mine. My mum pays for him, pays for all his medical bills. I only pay for the food, but that's only because I work in a pet shop. But I ended up taking him to the vets because my mum wasn't able to, and I couldn't not take him. And the vet turned around and said, look, your cat's got an extremely high fever, and what they suspected is that he when he had that fight with the other cat, is the cat was carrying something and then bit him, passing on that infection, the virus, whatever it was now on Shadow. So they needed to knock him out and have a better look at him, which I agreed to. And yeah, £900 later, and Shadow was all back to normal pretty much. His temperature was brought back down, he was eating you know, some form of food, and he started to come around again. Cue on a week later, a little git gets ill again, and we said to each other that we weren't going to take him to the vets because it was going to cost too much money. He'd already cost us £900. There was no freaking way that he was going back to the vets again. So we left him for a couple of days once again, and he wasn't getting better. He started dribbling a lot of like fluid coming from his nose, and then we realised, oh god, he's gonna have to go back to the vets. And then I think it was the night before, we were all sitting down and we noticed something sticking out of his nose. The idiot that he is had snorted a blade of grass. He'd snorted a blade of grass. He had gone to go and eat grass and in the midst of doing that, snorted it. And it got stuck up in his nasal passage, and it had been up there for the couple of days to a week that we left him. It had fermented, and because obviously it was stuck in his nose, that was what was causing the dribbling. And I had just said to my mum, I was like, we're not taking him to the vets to get that removed, and probably making the wrong decision of pulling it out ourselves. And yeah, he was fine after that. So that is how we got Shadow. I think it's a really interesting story. We didn't pay any money for him. He's the only cat that we currently have that was free. And yeah, I think he's had a really interesting life. And I'll continue to share videos of him. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed.